1189. Okay, and our last headword was entrust, full stage revision. Okay, so let's
Trust.
start.
Okay.
Here we go. Just find entrust. Okay, let's start. What's the greatest
Okay.
hardship you've ever had to suffer? What's the greatest hardship you've ever had to suffer? The greatest hardship
The greatest
I've ever
hardship
had to suffer
I've ever had to suffer
is
is is a workshop with a lot of native speaker.
oh, but you did it very good. Okay, what am I pretending that someone's doing to me whilst I'm writing? What am I pretending that someone's doing to me while I'm writing? You're pretending
You are
that
pretending
someone's
to.
jolting your elbow.
Sorry, you are pretending
That someone's jolting
that someone's jolting
your elbow
your
whilst
elbow
you are writing.
whilst you are writing.
Very
Okay.
good. What therefore does the word jolt mean? What therefore does the
What
word jolt
therefore
mean?
does what
The
mean?
verb jolt
The
means
verb
to
jolt
shake,
means
knock,
to
or
shake,
bump.
knock, or bump.
Very good. Okay. What does the verb stroll mean? What does the verb stroll mean? The
Stroll
verb
mean.
stroll
The
means
verb
to
stroll
walk
means
in a
to
relaxed
walk in a relaxed
and unhurried manner.
and unhurried manner.
Very good. Do you ever go for a stroll in a nearby park? Do you ever go for a stroll in a nearby park? Yes or no?
Yes,
I sometimes go
I
for a
sometimes
stroll
go for
in
a
a
stroll
nearby park.
in a nearby park.
Very good. Do most medicines in widespread use have unpleasant side effects on some people? Do most medicines in widespread use have unpleasant side effects on some people? Yes, most
Yes,
medicines in
most
widespread
medicines
use
in widespread
have
use
unpleasant side
have
effects
an unpleasant side
on
effect
some people.
on some people.
Very good. Okay, next. Scroll down.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. In reference to writing, what do we mean by a review? In reference to writing, what do we mean by a review?
Okay.
By a review,
By
we
a
mean a
review,
piece of
we mean
writing
a piece of
that tells
writing
the reader
that
about a book,
helps the reader about a book,
film, event,
film,
or other
event,
product,
or other
and
product,
also gives the
and
writer's
also gives the
opinions on it.
writer's opinions on it.
Where do we normally find reviews? Where do we normally find reviews?
Find
We
reviews.
normally find
We
reviews
normally find
in
reviews
newspapers,
in
in
newspapers,
magazines, on
in magazines,
websites,
on
etc.
websites, etc.
What's the purpose of a review? What's the purpose of a review? The purpose of
The
a
purpose
review is
of a
to help
review
the
is
reader
to help the
decide
reader
if they want to
decide
buy the
if they
product,
want to buy the product,
watch the film, etc.
watch a film, etc.
Ragged, what three parts can we normally expect a review to contain? What three
Contain
parts can we expect
part.
a review to contain? We can normally expect
We can
a
normally
review
expect
to contain
a review to
an
contain
overview, an
an
assessment,
overview, an
and a
assessment,
verdict.
and a verdict.
Ragged, what's the purpose of the overview? What's the purpose of the overview?
Purpose of the
The
overview.
purpose
The
of the
purpose of
overview
the
is to
overview
give basic
is to give basic
factual information
factual
about
information
the product,
about the
event,
product,
etc.
event, etc.
What does the assessment tell us? What does the assessment tell us? The assessment
The
tells
assessment
us the
tells us
writer's opinions
the writer's opinions
regarding the positive and
regarding the
negative
positive and the
aspects
negative
of the
aspects
product, event,
of the product,
etc.
event, etc.
Very good. What does the verdict do? What does the verdict do? The verdict
The
gives the
verdict
writer
gives the writer's
overall conclusion
overall
and
conclusion
recommendations
and
regarding who
recommendation
the product
regarding who the
or
product
event
or event
might be suitable for.
might be suitable for.
Very good. Okay. Which kind of story is more likely to have some basis on historical facts? Which kind of story is more likely to
Stories
have some
likely
basis in
to have
historical facts? A
historical
legend or
fact,
a myth?
a legend or
A
myth.
legend is a
A
story
legend is
which
a
is more
story
likely
which
to
is more
have
likely
some
to have
basis
some
in
basis
historical
in
facts.
historical facts.
Very good. What do I mean if I say the farm wagon trundled along the road? What do I mean if I say the farm wagon
Okay.
trundled along the road? If you say the
If you
farm
say
wagon
the farm
trundled
wagon
along the road,
trundled along the
you
road,
mean that. The
will
farm
that
wagon
the
move
farmer
noisily
move
in a
noisily
heavy and
in
slow
a
manner.
heavy and slow manner.
Very good. What do we call the circular arrangements of leaves or flowers that we can use to commemorate
We
a
can use
victory
to
or death?
commemorate a
For
victory or
example,
death.
what do we call a
We
circular arrangements of
have
leaves or
of
flowers
leaves
that we
or
can use
flowers
to
that
commemorate
we
a
can use
victory
to
or death?
commemorate
For
a victory
example,
or death.
we call a circular
We call a
arrangement of
circular arrangement
leaves
of leaves
or flowers
or
that
flowers
we can use to
that we can
commemorate a
use to
victory or
commemorate
death,
a victory or
a
death.
wreath.
Leaves.
Very good. If the world were to run out of an oil deposit, do you think it would spell disaster
It will
around the
spell
globe?
disaster around the
If the
globe.
world were to run out of oil deposits,
Run
do you
out of
think it
oil
would spell
deposit.
disaster around the globe? Yes or no?
Yes.
If the world were
If
to
the
run
world
out of
were to
oil
run out of
deposits,
oil deposit,
I think it would spell
I think
disaster
it would spell
around the
disaster
globe.
around the globe.
Very good. What do we mean by a spell of bad luck? What do we mean by a spell of bad
By
luck?
a spell of
By
bad
a
luck.
spell of
By a
bad
spell
luck,
of bad
we
luck,
mean a brief
we
period
mean a brief
of
period
bad luck.
of bad luck.
Well, what's a heat wave? What's a heat wave? A heat wave
A
is a
heat wave
spell of
is a spell of exceptionally
exceptionally hot weather.
hot weather.
Wait, one more. A heat wave
Okay.
is a
A heat
spell
wave
of
is a spell
exceptionally
of
hot weather.
exceptionally hot weather.
Very good. Okay, next. If I give you a stock market tip that meant you stood to gain
Tip
a lot of
that
money,
managed to gain
would
a
you
lot of
follow
money.
my advice?
Follow
If
my
I
advice.
gave you a stock market tip that meant
Tip
you stood
that
to
meant
gain a lot of
you
money,
should
would you follow my
gain
advice? Yes or
follow my
no?
advice. Yes.
If you gave me a
If
stock
you gave
market
me
tip
a stock
that
market tip
meant I stood to
that
gain
meant I stood
a
to
lot of
gain
money,
a lot of
I'd
money,
follow your
I'd
advice.
follow your
Very
advice.
good. One more. Yes. If you gave
Yes,
me a stock
if you gave
market
me
tip
a stock market
that
tip
meant I stood to
that
gain
meant I
a
stood
lot
to
of
gain
money,
a
I'd
lot of
follow
money,
your advice.
I follow your
Okay, I would.
advice.
I'd follow.
Okay, I'd follow your advice.
Very good. Give me some other examples of stand to. Give me some other examples of stand to, please. You must be crazy to
You must be
gamble like
crazy
that.
to gamble like
You
that.
stand to lose everything
You
you've got.
stand to lose everything you got.
As the only child
As the only
of
child
a wealthy businessman,
of a wealthy
she stand
businessman,
to inherit
she
a
stands
fortune.
to inherit a fortune.
Very good. If you were shipwrecked on a desert island, do you
On
reckon
the
you'd
top
be
island,
able to
the
build a
record
raft
is
and
able to
escape?
build a lab
If you were
escape.
shipwrecked on a desert island, do you reckon you'd be able to build a raft and escape? Yes or no?
Yes.
If I were shipwrecked
If I
on a
were
desert
shipwrecked
island,
on a desert
I
island,
reckon I'd be
I
able to
reckon
build
I'd be
a
able
raft
to
and
build
escape.
a raft,
And escape.
a raft and escape.
Very good. One more. Yes. If
Okay.
I were
Yes.
shipwrecked on a
If I
desert
were
island,
shipwrecked on a desert
I
island,
reckon I'd be
I
able to
reckon
build a
I'd be
raft
able to
and
build a
escape.
raft and escape.
How would you do it? How would you do it?
At first, I'd cut some trees into many pieces and tie them together with ropes.
Very good. And then escape.
Yeah,
Very good.
and escape. Yeah.
Okay. Next. Is it possible to wade across a very deep river? Is it possible to wade across a very deep river? No, it isn't
No, it
possible
isn't
to wade
possible
across
to wade
a
across
very deep river.
a very deep river
Why not? Why not? Because to wade
because
across,
to wade
your
across,
feet need to be
your
able.
feet,
uh,
your feet,
Your feet need to be able
your feet need to be
to
able
touch the bottom of the
to touch
river.
the bottom of the river.
Very good, one more. Because
Okay,
to wade
because
across,
to wade
your
across,
feet need
your
to be
feet
able
need
to
to be
touch the
able
bottom of
to
the
touch the
river.
bottom of the river.
Very good. Okay. What does the verb grapple mean? What does the verb grapple mean?
Grapple
The
means
verb
the
grapple
verb
means
grapple
to
means
hold something
to hold something
firmly and struggle with it.
firmly and struggle with it.
Very good. Give me an example. Give me an example, please. The policeman
The
grappled with
policeman
the criminal
grappled with a
on the
criminal
balcony.
on the balcony.
Very good. Okay, next. Is it hard for the new manager of a football club to live up to fans' expectation if his
Transaction
predecessor was very successful?
very
Is it
successful.
hard for the new manager of a football club to live up to fans' expectations if his predecessor was very successful? Yes, it's hard
Yes,
for the new
it's
manager
hard for the new
or a
manager
football club
for a
to
football
live
club
up to
to
fans'
live up to
expectations
fans'
if
expectations
his predecessor
if his
was
predecessor
very successful.
was very successful.
Very good. Give me an example of the expression first and foremost. Give me an example of the expression first and foremost, please.
First and
In the
foremost is
past, the
in the past,
practice of pickling
the
fruit
practice of pickling fruits
and vegetables
and
was first
vegetables
and
was
foremost
first and
in
foremost
order to preserve
in
the
order
food
to preserve the
for
food
as long as possible.
for as long as possible.
Very good. When heavy black clouds build up across the sky, is it reasonable to assume a downpour is in store?
Madame for
When heavy
installed
black clouds build up across the sky,
build up the
is it
sky.
reasonable to assume a downpour is in store? Yes. When
Yes,
heavy black
when
clouds
heavy black
build
clouds
up across the
build up
sky,
across the
it's
sky,
reasonable to
it's
assume
reasonable to
a
assume
downpour is in
a
store.
damper is in store.
Have you got anything in store for next weekend? Have you got anything in store for next weekend? Yes or no?
Yes,
I've got something in
I've
store
got something in
for
store
next weekend.
for next weekend.
Greg, give me a sentence with the word presently in it. Give me a sentence with the word
With
presently in it, please.
presently,
The ceremony will
the
commence
ceremony will
presently
commence
once
presently
all the principal guests
once all
have
the
arrived.
principal guests have arrived.
Very good. What happens to somebody who's caught betraying their country? What happens to somebody who's caught betraying their country? Somebody who's caught
Somebody who's caught
betraying their country
betraying their
is
country
imprisoned or
is
perhaps
imprisoned
even
or
executed.
perhaps even executed.
Very good. Name an animal that waddles when it walks. Name an animal that waddles when it walks. The name of an
The name
animal
of an
that waddles
animal
when it
that
walks
waddles when it
is a
walks
penguin.
is a penguin.
Very good. Have you ever spent a whole day without uttering a single word to anyone? Have you ever
Ever.
spent a whole day without uttering a single word to anyone? Yes or no?
Yes,
I've spent a whole day
I've spent a whole day
without uttering
without
a single
uttering
word
a
to
single
anyone.
word to anyone.
Is there anybody in the world that you feel utter contempt for? Is there anybody in the world that you feel utter contempt for? Yes or no?
Yes,
There is somebody in the
there
world
is somebody in the
that
world
I feel
that I
utter
feel
contempt for.
utter contempt for.
Who? Who?
Russian President Putin.
Mr.
Putin
Vladimir
President.
Putin. Very good. Okay. Describe a canoe. Describe a canoe, please. A canoe
A
is a
canoe
narrow, open
is a
boat
narrow open boat
designed for one or two people,
designed for one or two
which
people,
we move by
which will
paddling.
move by paddling.
Very good. Okay, what am I doing? What am I doing? You're jabbing your hand
You are jabbing your
with the
hand
point of your
with the
pen.
point of your pen.
Very good. Okay, what do I mean if I say the doctor gave me a job? What do I mean if I say the doctor gave me a job? If you say the
If you
doctor
say
gave
the
me a
doctor
job,
gave
you
me a
mean
job,
the
you mean
doctor gave you
the
an
doctor
injection.
gave you an injection.
Or if you say the
If
doctor
you
gave
say
me a
the
job,
doctor gave me a
you
job,
mean the doctor
you
gave
mean the
you an
doctor
injection.
gave you an injection.
Very good. What does the verb dangle mean? What does the verb dangle mean? The verb dangle
The
means
verb dangle
to
means
hang or swing
to hang
loosely
or swing
or
loosely
limply.
or limply.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. After the climbing accident,
After the cla-
after the climbing accident,
okay. After the climbing
I
accident,
was left dangling
I
on
was
the
left
rope
dangling
for
on
more than an
the
hour
rope for more than an hour
before I was rescued.
before I was rescued.
Very good. If a pile of plates is too high, what's likely to happen? If a pile of plates is too high,
What's
what's
that too
likely to
high? What's
happen?
likely to
If a
happen?
pile of
If a
plates
pile
is
of
too
plates
high,
is too
it's
high,
likely to topple
it's
over
likely to tumble over
and the plates will
and
smash.
the plates will smash.
Very good. What do we use? When do we use the expression that's that? When do we use the
That
expression that's that? We use the
we
expression
use the
that's
expression
that
That's
to
that.
convey that
To
a
convey that
conversation,
conversation,
situation, or process
situation, or
is
process
definitely finished.
is definitely finished.
Greg, give me some examples. Give me some examples, please. You cannot watch TV
You cannot watch
till
TV
your homework is done,
till your homework is
and
done,
that's that.
and that's that.
The police know you
The
stole the
police
car,
know you stole the
so
car,
that's that.
so that's that.
I just have to knock in
I just have to knock in
one last nail,
one
and
last
that's that.
nail, and that's that.
Very good. And
Okay.
that's that for the Callan Method lesson. Okay, so we still get like
Okay.
7 minutes. So let's review again.
7 minutes. Review again. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so well, where do we start? Stage 12 again. Okay.
Okay. Still, still,
Okay, let
no
me
problem.
pick a
Yes.
random page that we can start the harder part. Okay, here you go. Ready?
Okay.
Here you
Okay.
go.
I'm ready. Okay.
What do we mean by an essay? What do we mean by an essay? By an essay,
By an
we
essay,
mean a short piece
we
of
mean a
writing
short piece of
that
writing
presents and
that
discusses
presents and
ideas
discusses
on a
ideas
particular topic
on a particular
and
topic
reaches a conclusion.
and reaches a conclusion.
And who are essays usually written by? Who are essays usually written
Essay
by?
usually written by
Essays are usually
essays
written
are
by
usually
students
written
at
by
school,
students at
college,
school,
or university.
college, or university.
Very good. How does an essay normally start? How does an essay
How
normally
does an
start?
essay normally
An
start?
essay normally
An essay
starts
normally
with
starts
general information
with general
that
information
introduces the
that
topic of
introduces
the
the
essay.
topic of the essay.
Very good. What should each main paragraph of an essay focus on? What should each main paragraph of an essay focus on? Each main paragraph
Each main
of an
paragraph
essay
of
should
an
focus
essay
on a
should
particular
focus
point
on a particular
or
point
aspect of the topic
or aspect of the
that
topic
we want to
that
discuss.
we want to discuss.
Very good. How can we make certain our ideas are clear for the reader? How can we make certain our ideas are clear for the reader? We can make certain
We can make
our
certain
ideas are
our
clear
ideas
for the
are
reader
clear for the
by
reader
illustrating them
by
with
illustrating them
examples.
with examples.
Wait, if we're making 2 points that are closely related, should we
Closely
put
related
them in the
should
same
put them
paragraph?
in the same paragraph.
If we're making 2 points that are
Make
closely
2 points
related,
that are
should we
closely
put
related
them in the same paragraph?
paragraph.
Yes. If we are
Yes,
making two
if
points
we are making two
that are
points
closely
that
related,
are closely
we
related,
should put them
we
in the
should put
same
them
paragraph.
in the same paragraph.
How does an essay normally end? How does an essay normally
Let's say
end?
normally
An
ends.
essay
An
normally
essay
ends
normally
with
ends
our own
with
personal
our own
conclusion
personal
on the
conclusion
topic.
on the topic.
Very good. Okay, next. Do you think you could make out a person's facial expression from
Facial
100
expression
meters away?
from 100
Do you
meters
think
away.
you could make out a person's facial expression from 100 meters away? Yes or no?
No,
I don't think.
I
I
don't
could
think
make out a
I could make
person's
out
facial
a person's
expression
facial
from
expressions
100 meters
from
away.
100 meters away.
Very good. If you discover a leaking water pipe in your home, would you call for a plumber
Would you
straight
call
away
for plumber
or try to fix the problem yourself? If you
to
discovered
fix
a leaking water pipe in your
water
home,
pipe in
would you
your home?
call for a plumber straight away or try to fix the problem yourself? If I discovered
If I
a
discover
leaking water pipe
a
in
leaking
my
water
home,
pipe in my home,
I'd
I'd try to
fix the
fix
problem
the
first
problem first
myself
myself
before calling a plumber.
before calling a plumber.
Very good. Okay, next. Who's the least reliable member of your family? Who's the least reliable member of your family? Mine
My daughter
is the
is the
least
least
reliable member
reliable member
of my
of
family.
my family.
Very good. When someone gives you your directions to go somewhere, are you good at taking them in or do you quickly get confused? When someone gives you direction to go somewhere,
To
are you
go
good at
somewhere.
taking them in or do you quickly get confused? Yes or no?
No.
When
When
someone
I'm
gives
when
me direction
someone gives me
to go
directions
somewhere,
to go
I
somewhere,
quickly get
I
confused.
quickly get confused.
Very good. Is it common for people to be taken in by the claims of
By the
dishonest
claims
salesmen?
of this.
and later discover they've been
later
ripped off.
discovered to be
Is
ripped
it
off.
common for people to be taken in by the
To be
claims of
taken
this
by the
honest
claim of
salesman
the
and later
salesman
discover they've been
and
ripped
later
off?
discovered to be ripped off.
Yes,
Yes,
it's common for people
it's common
to be
for
taken
people
in
to be
by the
taken in
claims
by
of
the
this
claims
honest
of
salesman
this honest
and later
salesman
discover
and later
they've
discovered
been ripped off.
them being ripped off.
Very good. What do most young English children call their mom and dad? What do most young English children call their mom and dad? Most young English
Most
children
young English
call their
children
mom and
call
dad
their mom and dad
mommy and daddy.
mommy and daddy.
Very good. What do the words manhood, womanhood, etc. mean? What do the words manhood and womanhood it means? The words manhood
The word
and
manhood
womanhood
and
means
womanhood
the
means
state of being a
the state
man
of being a
and the
man
state of being
and
a
the
woman.
state of being a woman.
Very good. Does motherhood often changes a woman's priorities in life? Does motherhood often changes a woman's priorities in life? Yes.
Yes,
Motherhood often changes
motherhood often
a
changes
woman's
a
priorities in
woman's
life.
priorities in life.
Very good. If you had to, how long do you reckon you could last just on the food you have at home right now? If you had to, how long do you reckon you could last just on the food you had at home right now? If I had to,
If I
I
had
reckon I
to,
could
I
last
reckon I could last about 1 week
just on the food
just on the
I
food
have at home right
I
now.
have at home right now.
Very good. Is every snowflake that falls from the sky unique? Is every snowflake that falls from the sky unique? Yes. Every
Yes,
snowflake
every
that falls
snowflake
from the
that
sky
falls from the
is unique.
sky is unique.
Very good. Are any members from the class absent today? Are any members of the class absent today? Yes or no?
Oh no,
Not anybody. One
not
more.
anybody,
No, not any
no,
members
not any
of this
members
class are
of this
absent
class
today.
are absent today.
Very good. Are people who live in houses inclined to accumulate a lot of useless junk in their attic? Are people who live in houses inclined to accumulate a lot of useless junk in their attic? Yes.
Yes,
People who live in
people who
houses
live in
are
houses
inclined to
are
accumulate
inclined to
a lot
accumulate
of useless
a
junk
lot of
in
useless
their
junk
attic.
in their attic.
But if the room you were in was stuffy, would you be inclined to open a window even if it was chilly outside? If the room you were in was stuffy, would you be inclined to open a window even if it was chilly outside? Yes or no?
Yes,
If the room I was
if
in
the
was
room I
stuffy,
was in was
I'd be
stuffy,
inclined to
I'd be
open a
inclined
window
to open the
even
window
if it was
even
chilly
if it
outside.
was chilly outside.
Very good. If somebody deliberately sets fire to a building, what crime are they guilty of? If somebody deliberately sets fire to a building,
Sets fire
what
to a
crime are they
building.
guilty of? If somebody
If
deliberately sets
somebody
fire to a
deliberately sets
building,
fire to a
they're
building,
guilty of
they are
arson.
guilty of arson.
Right? If a country goes through a long period of okay, but we stop there for today. But very good
Oh,
practice for the
thank you.
whole